Hi, I'm YRulerOfTime. This is a tennis racket, and this is red right to left. Hey guys, I've been at this thing for about 6 months now, and I have to admit that my video production rate has been a bit lower than I wanted it to be. However, one thing that I promised myself when I made the first episode of Red Right to Left was that I would one day return to the series that I reviewed because I wanted to give it a more in-depth, thorough beatdown. Which is why today, we are returning to that deplorable, heinous, sickening thing that is Prince of Tennis.
If you haven't seen that first episode, I'll sum it up for you as briefly as I can. I hate Prince of Tennis. I loathe it. I despise it. This is my Final Fantasy VIII. This is my countdown. It horrifies me to think that this series survived for nearly 400 chapters. It disgusts me that this series' popularity is such that anime, live-action movies, and musicals based on the piece of shit have been produced.
And it makes me hate myself to think that I read through the whole fucking thing. How could I have been so ignorant that... Okay, I just think it's really bad, and despite that, I keep on coming back to it. I have to keep looking through it again, going back and rereading it. It's like a black hole of suck.
Now when I say bad, don't take it the wrong way. It's not Troll 2 so bad it's hilarious. It's not the Clone Wars movie so stupid I can't believe this came out of that awesome miniseries bad either. No, Prince of Tennis is bad because it is an empty experience. It is an unkept promise. It is a shell without substance. It is completely devoid of satisfaction. Everything about the series that could be likable is forgotten. Everything that could be cool is portrayed with a complete absence of anything resembling taste.
And that is why I read through the whole thing. There was the promise of something good that was just never cashed in. That's the greatest crime you can possibly commit when you make any form of art. The greatest pain that you can make your audience experience, squandering your potential. But for all of the bad things that came out of Prince of Tennis, at least it gave me a lot of stuff to complain and talk about.
What I'll be looking at today is a story arc which features Echizen Ryoma and the rest of Seigaku's players competing in the Kanto Regional Tournament. It's during this arc that things start to get really bad for the series. Before this arc, I'd chalk up most of my issues with the series being due to Echizen showing up too damn much, but by the end of the arc, even the segments that don't feature him are just a series of uninteresting gimmicks, and Echizen himself gets even more annoying.
Now before we begin, I'm going to try to avoid some of the tennis rules jargon to avoid any confusion, but to any of you who are unfamiliar with the rules of tennis, which I'm sure a lot of you are, I'd suggest going to www.tennis-rules.net, which has a brief summary of tennis rules.
Just be sure to understand that singles is 1-on-1 while doubles is 2-on-2. It's simple, sure, but it's important to understand this because both types are featured prominently in Prince of Tennis. Whenever two schools play against each other in an official tournament, they played a best of 5, with 3 of the 5 matches being singles and the other 2 being doubles.
Alright, we're starting at chapter 118 and not stopping until we get to the end of this story arc at 235. That's over 2 years of this series condensed into one video. And it's Prince of Tennis. Oh boy. Fortunately, this time around I have something to help me express my feelings toward the series a little more effectively. Let's get this show on the road.
Things start with a meeting between the representatives of various schools to determine the tournament ladder for the Kanto Regional. Seigaku's first opponent in the tournament is Hyote, a school led by this guy, Atabe Keigo. The next few chapters show how the various players are preparing for the big match, the most important probably being this discussion between Inui and Kaido. Inui asks Kaido if he wants to form a doubles team, pointing out that Tezuka, Echizen, and Fuji, their 3 singles players, are all better than Kaido. On the other hand, they have an opening at doubles.
Okay, stop. Did you get that? That was a simple, succinct, sensible explanation of Seigaku's lineup, which is important to any sport involving more than one person aside. Okay, so they've got 8 players registered. Echizen, Tezuka, Fuji play singles, Kawamura is the backup. The other 4 are Oishi and Kikamaru, who form one doubles team, Inui and Kaido, who form the other. Nice, simple, easy to keep track of. Yeah, so there's no way in hell this isn't going to be directly contradicted.
Before the match actually starts, the team gets a call from Oishi, saying he's late because he helped a pregnant woman to the hospital. Momoshiro, who's been left out of the lineup, goes to take his place looking after the woman, but it turns out Oishi has actually broken his wrist.
All that talk about how it doesn't hurt to be a good Samaritan? Lies!
Actually, this is kind of pathetic. Look at all these other injuries. Kawamura gets hurt by returning a shot so powerful it fucks his arm up. Tezuka gets messed up because some asshole clubs him with a racket. And Ichisen gets a cut near his eye from a shattered racket flying into his face. A magically teleporting cut! On the other hand, we don't actually learn how Oishi broke his wrist, though I think the anime said that the woman fell into him. Whatever, the purpose of this is so that Oishi will get Momoshiro to take his place.
Now, in general, I don't have a problem with this situation. I mean, overcoming a teammate's injury is one of the archetypical sports stories. It provides great drama for any sports fiction. The thing is that this happens.
Momoshiro and Kikumaro have never played together, and yet they do extremely well and win. Midway through the match, Momoshiro reveals that Oishi gave him a lot of tips which he just wrote on his arm.
Oh yeah, good job, Konami. Tell your young readers that writing the answers on your arm isn't just okay, it acts as a substitute for athleticism, practice, and getting to work together with your teammates.
Momoshiro and Kikumaro do the Australian formation, they do the moon volley, basically they do everything that they could do if Oishi had been playing. And at the end of the match, Oishi admits that if he and Kikumaro had played instead, they would have lost.
Oishi and Kikumaru, renowned until this moment in the series as one of the best doubles teams in the country, the Golden Pair. And they suck in comparison to a hastily formed team, including a guy who needed to write notes on his arm in order to know what to do. Be consistent, damn it!
The next match is considerably more interesting because it's the first to feature Kaido and Inui as a team. One of their opponents, Shishido, deserves a little mention. Earlier in the series, he's kicked off the team for losing a match, and to earn his spot back, he goes through the miraculous training method of letting a ball hit him in the face. After that, he expresses his desire to get back on the team by cutting his long hair.
Yeah, I was gonna cut it for charity, but I decided that making a gesture in middle school sports is way more important than helping underprivileged children.
Anyways, Kaido and Inui fall behind but start to make a comeback when Inui starts using his data tennis, having observed their opponent's weaknesses over the course of the match, while Kaido took it upon himself to return most of the shots. They really come together as partners, even if they lose in the end, and overall it's a pretty satisfying match. Following this, there's a big power battle between Kawamura and this big guy, Kabaddi. They go back and forth with some powerful shots until Kawamura is forced to use his ace technique called the Hadokyu.
Bless you, Japan, and your lax copyright laws!
After this, it turns out that Kabaddi is capable of mimicking other players' techniques, and uses the Hadokyu as well. So Kawamura starts using the one-handed Hadokyu, which is more powerful than the two-handed version.
That makes no fucking sense! Anyone who's ever swung anything with one arm and then has swung it with two arms knows that two arms give you more power. And there's no explanation to how the technique works. Are we just expected to swallow that swinging it with one arm is more powerful without any reasoning behind it?
Putting aside common sense for a moment, the trade-off for more power with the one-handed Hadokyu is that it puts a lot of stress on the arm. After Kabaddi copies the Hadokyu, things turn into a stamina battle, which ends in a tie as both of their arms give out at the same time. As a result, the match is called a no decision.
It's like bloody knuckles or a high-speed game of chicken. Tennis is hardcore!
The fourth match is between Fuji and Jiro, a guy seen ominously sleeping virtually every time he's encountered, who handily defeated Fuji's younger brother Yuta in an earlier match. All this build-up could only mean that he's defeated easily in 4 chapters.
Wow, what a climax.
Now comes the fifth and final match. Tezuka steps forward to play in an official match for the first time in the series run. He stands tall, looking stern as ever, ready to open. Hey Tezuka, you haven't gotten weaker, have you? Atabe walks onto the court and raises his hands. All 200 members of Hyote's team begin chanting at the signal of Atabe's hand motions as he conducts them like an orchestra. They say, Hyote will win, Seigaku will lose. Hyote will win, Seigaku will lose. The winner will be Atabe, the loser will be Tezuka. The winner will be... me.
Okay, that's pretty awesome.
Holy shit, does this guy know how to put on a show. After taking just the first point, he says, "Be intoxicated with my beautiful skills." But more than just being self-absorbed, Atabe has a plan to draw out the match. This will aggravate Tezuka's old arm injury, and Atabe won't just beat him, but Tezuka will never be able to play again.
Arrogant beyond all reasoning, poses for no damn reason, really good looking, not just amazingly skilled, but able to beat players on his own turn, make them play the way he wants them to, and have an effect on his opponents that goes well beyond the end of the match. Man, this guy's a great classic villain. He would suck as a hero, wouldn't he? Right, Edgerton?
Actually, it's really inconsistent how much Tezuka's shoulder injury affects him. He collapses in pain at one point, but he plays a really extended match with the only other apparent side effect being that he messes up one shot at the very end. But either way, he ends up losing, so both teams are actually tied with all 5 matches done. To break the tie, they have their substitutes play, and who else could be Seigaku's backup but Echizen fucking Ryoma. He says some stupid dialogue, uses some stupid techniques, and overall the thing is supposed to make him look like a big damn hero, but he just looks more annoying than ever. Overall, besides the Deuce Echizen Machina, the Seigaku vs. Hyote matches are pretty half-decent, though chock full of anticlimaxes and cop-outs. I mean, it's Shakespearean compared to some of the stuff that happens later. For example, right after the matches are done, Seigaku celebrates by going bowling in a gag mini-arc that basically demonstrates that Konami Takashi is the,
What's the opposite of crown of comedic writing? Valley? Trough? Whatever. It's not funny. And, great idea there. Let's go throw some 10-pound objects around while a third of our team is suffering from arm injuries.